So in previous lecture we have seen the sources, instrumentation and the some part of the sample compartment. So in this lecture we will see the what are the requirement of sample that is used for the PIXC technique. Okay, so the basic requirement for the sample, that is it must be like self-coating or self-supporting, because we are going to use the high energy of incident radiation so that interact with the solid sample. So the sample used in the PIX technique usually is a self-supporting, or the some coated thin film is there on the sample. Okay, and the sample that are generally analyzed into the this technique is used as in their original state, or some aerosol or filter, some archaeological samples that they are used as it is, some soil sample or biological samples are used. So this technique is used for the so many samples. Okay, so in this applications are very much large for this technique. So this technique is useful in various fields. Okay, so the requirement for sample is the sample size should be like uniform, because this depth of this technique is around uh, like few micrometers. Okay, few micrometers. So if the composition of that sample is changes, then the result which are obtained for this particular area will does not replicate the result of whole sample. Okay, so the sample in case of like that archaeological samples or some soil samples, the sample which is not being homogeneous. Okay, so for that sample, some that sample are grinded into the fine powder, and they will form to the uh, they will form as a some mix with some carbon powder to add to so as to form some pellets. Okay, and that pellets are then used as a sample. Okay, so the general this incident or the source is having coverage of around 10 to 50 micrometer of the sample. Okay, so only that much area is going to cover. So the diameter is of around 1 to 10 millimeter is representative of the whole sample. So the sample must be homogeneous, and if it is not homogeneous, then we have to make it homogeneous by grinding that sample into the fine powder, and then mixing with it some grade carbon powder, and then consequently we can form its pellets, and we can analyze that particular pellets. Okay, so that is the requirements of sample in PIXC. Next is the detection system. So what are the detector that is used into the this technique is the silicon lithium type detector. Okay, it is a mm, okay, specific type of detector which consisting of the transistors. Okay, field effect transistors are there. So various electronics things are involved in this detectors. Okay, so once that signal is coming from x-ray signal coming from this interaction of that radiations, so the x-ray signals are detected by using this silicon lithium detector. Okay, so that signal are again that amplified and then shape into the various pulses. Okay, so this analog signal from the amplifier is then fed up to the analog to digital converter. Okay, so the signal which is coming from silicon lithium detector is in the form of analog signal, that is waveform. Okay, so in order to have the output in the digital format, we need to convert the signal by using the converter, that is analog to digital converter, simply called as ADC. Okay, so that the signal will get transferred to the memory system, and through that memory system it get transferred to the computer via the various channels. Okay, so the in the instrumentation that parts are shown as the amplifier or display unit or data output unit. Okay, so that is the detection system. Okay, so the main part of this technique is the applications. Okay, so the main important part of this technique is the application, because this technique is useful for the wide range of compounds. Okay, and there are like always two types of application. One is the qualitative and quantitative applications. So the qualitative applications can be based upon the uh, energy of that emitted X-ray radiations. Okay, so that X-ray radiations which are emitted are lies into the range of around 20 kilo electron volt. Okay, so that 20 kilo electron volt energy which is being arranged for the whole elements. Okay, so most of the element will show you the output for the specific uh, electron volt range. Okay, so here is the chart for the some of the common elements. Okay, so here we are seeing the atomic number, their element symbol, and the characteristic peak for that particular element having the specific shell. Okay, so for that lighter element we are having the K shell energy of that X-rays radiation. Sometimes it is referred to as a K alpha lines. Okay, K alpha lines or K beta lines. Okay, so based upon the energy level, that core energy levels, if electrons are ejected from core energy core orbitals, then it is a K shell. If higher orbitals are used, then it will be L shell or M shell as such. Okay, so the character this voltage is being characteristic for each and every element. Okay, so once we have run the spectra and obtain the X-ray radiation energy, then we are comparing this with the standard chart. Okay, so this chart gives you the standard idea about the which element shows the K alpha or K beta or that L lines. Okay, K lines or L lines specifically. So we can simply compare this with the standard of our sample, and then we can qualitatively analyze the given sample. Okay, in case of that quantitative analysis, we can simply measure the intensity of given peak, and so we can find out the actual concentration of that particular ion into the given sample. Okay, so that is the qualitative analysis based upon the standard uh, X-ray emission energy. Okay, so we can compare this standard X-ray emission intensity and we can get the idea about the qualitative analysis. Okay, so qualitative analysis is generally used into the for the specific elements which are characteristic for that particular element. The X-ray energies of interest are lies below the 20 kilo electron volt. Okay, so for most of the element that energy lies below the 20 kilo electron volt. When the X-ray element are having the like lighter, okay, lighter mass. So if heavier elements are there, then there might be like confusion between their inner shell. Okay, so here in chart you can see that. So here we are having the, okay, so here we are having the some low voltage. Okay, low voltage, relatively low voltage, and this is the specifically for our L alpha line of the heavier element. Okay, so some of the heavier element will show the voltage in the range of 2 or 3 or some 4 kilo electron volt, but this voltage also lies for the K alpha line for the some lighter elements. Okay, so there might be some confusion between which peak is corresponds to the particular element. Okay, so that problem can be resolved by separately. So the presence of two strong KL line can be used to remove the interference for the heavier elements. Okay, so for the determination of, for example, for the determination of that lead and arsenic by using L beta component, we can separately make the intensity ratios of the lead and arsenic for the L beta lines, and we can estimate that which line is corresponds to the lead and which line is corresponds to the arsenic. Okay. And when the sample is containing many elements, the X-ray lines for the different elements are decided from the energies of various X-ray lines. Okay, so these are the some of the qualitative applications. Okay, so next we are seeing the general applications. Okay, general applications for the this technique. Okay, so first application is in the biological sciences. Okay, so in biological sciences, the essential as well as non-essential elements present in the biological system, as well as certain living matter containing primary element, that all elements can be determined by using this technique. Okay, so this technique is extensively used in the biological as well as medical sciences for the elemental analysis, because it is like able to detect the ultra trace elements like sodium, potassium, magnesium, iron, copper, zinc, selenium, etc. Okay, so all of these elements can be determined quite easily, and very a small amount also can be determined. The bulk matter also containing some essential 11 major element like carbon, hydrogen, nitrogen, oxygen, sodium, magnesium, phosphorus, sulfur, chlorine, potassium, and calcium. So all of these elements also can be determined. Some organic moieties, like in biomolecules we are finding the whole organic moieties along with some metal at a center. Okay, so that also can be determined by using this technique, like Fe, iodine, copper, chromium, manganese. Okay, molybdenum, selenium, chromium, tin. So it technique is used for wide variety of elements. Okay, but the only like element that is not detectable by using this technique is the fluorine. Okay, and the reason for this is the electronegativity of fluorine. Okay, so fluorine is the most electronegative element, so it is quite difficult to remove that electron from the core shell of that fluorine. Okay, so except fluorine we can determine the other elements. Okay, so trace element in the living matrices are not often contaminated, but it will be important for the particular functions. Okay, so that particular element having the specific function can be determined in if that element is present in the various organs like lumps, leeches as well. So all of these biomolecules can be estimated by using this technique. So there is one another technique, that is atomic absorptions technique, that can be used to determine all of these elements. Okay, because atomic absorption spectroscopy, like in principle we use the simply one cathode of that particular element we want to determine, and finally we get the peak for that specific element. But that technique is required to you to do separate the elements. Okay, first we need to separate the elements. Okay, chemical separation of that particular element is necessary, so that this technique is quite beneficial. That PXE is beneficial over atomic absorption spectroscopy or AS, because it does not require the chemical separation. We can directly determine the multiple element at the same time. Okay, and very trace amount of element also can be determined. Okay, so that is the application in the biological sciences. Next is in the application in the criminology. Okay, so generally this technique is successfully used for problem uh, or the